If those in the narthex could make their way forward, we will begin our 122nd meeting of the congregation. That word is chosen advisedly and not lightly, because for the first while, as you can see, we were a parish, or before we were a parish, we were a mission of St. Mark's Church, but we still kept meeting. So it's the 99th annual meeting of the parish. Next year will be quite a celebration. So I would like to call to order and welcome you to this 122nd meeting of the Congregation of All Souls in Berkeley. And to begin us, the Reverend Emily Boring will come and lead us in prayer.
May God be with you. Let us pray. God, our Creator, when you speak, there is light and life. Where you act, there is justice and love. Grant that your love may be present in this meeting as we celebrate, reflect, and chart the way forward, so what we say and what we do may be filled by your Holy Spirit. In your name we pray.
Thank you, Emily. So in the annual report that you might have in paper or in PDF in front of you, you'll find the agenda on page 3. We've already accomplished one thing, which is great. We have welcomed, we've called to order, we have prayed, and now it is time to approve last year's annual meeting minutes from 2025. That was the meeting on January 26, 2025. Let's see, do we have a motion to approve? Okay, John, and I saw a second from Jane. So John Danielson has moved and Jane Vandenberg has seconded. All in favor of approving those minutes, say aye. Aye. And those against, please say nay. And if you're abstaining, please do so. Okay, good. Lovely. So now I would like to invite forward 4 people, those who are retiring this year after service on our vestry. So that is Ryan Green-Roselle, it is Mark Wilson, it is Grace Telcs, and Michael Lewis, who I believe are here. There we are. All right. Well, we're batting 500 here, so come on up, and we will make sure they get recognized. So, here in front of you, just really, these two, in addition to being vestry members, have served as wardens in this last year. And you'll hear a little bit more about that. So first, Grace Telcs. I first got to know Grace Telcs almost 18 years ago when I led a group of young adults from All Souls and other churches in the East Bay to a post-Katrina New Orleans. I quickly came to trust Grace. It is not surprising that she has now served as warden of this parish on 2 different occasions. Grace has been wise, competent, attentive, and caring. She has a strong sense of Christian ethic, but doesn't wield it as a cudgel. In her role as our junior warden, she consistently paid attention to people, to process, and to our property, in that order. Thank you, Grace. And Michael Lewis. One of the greatest gifts that I have received serving as the rector of this parish has been in the wardens that I have been privileged to work alongside. I get to learn from some of the most bright and grounded and faith-filled people. Those characteristics aptly describe Michael Lewis. He grasps situations and dynamics startlingly quickly. His leadership style is open, clear, decisive, and forward-thinking. This past year, he led our vestry and this parish with a calm that was grounded in faith and in confidence. He got things done on time, under budget, and with style. Michael Lewis. These flowers are in recognition of your service as wardens, and may, as they continue to bloom, I hope you have more luck with orchids than I do, but if they do continue to bloom, I will hope that you will recognize that as a sign of what you've helped bloom here at All Souls Parish. And these are photo frames. It's been a practice of this parish that as people leave the vestry, we honor them with a photo of one of our icons. But since this last year, we have been blessed with more icons than we had before. On this table here, we have photos of the different icons we have. And so now it's a choose your own adventure. And you get to choose the icon or the image that you would like to carry with you from your time leading us as members of our vestry. Thank you. So as they do that, I will share my own reflections on Mark Wilson. Aha. We have a quorum. We have a quorum. Even better. Our reflections on Mark Wilson and Ryan Green Roselle. Ryan served our vestry in several important ways these past 3 years. She consistently asked the important and sometimes uncomfortable questions, which is essential on a deliberative body. She focused us on keeping our time. The fact that we were mostly on time in our meetings had a lot to do with Ryan. And she kept an eye out for the kinds of ways we could connect with new people or in ways we hadn't before. And so our Tuesday Taizé service, for instance, exists as a place of welcome and respite, partly because of Ryan's attentiveness, her gift, and her desire, for which I'm extremely grateful. And then Mark Wilson. Mark is one of those rare people that is able to both hold a strong opinion and be willing and open to having his mind changed. He demonstrated this many times at our meetings, and one of the effects was that it encouraged other people to be open to something they might not yet know. Again, critical to a deliberative body. As a PK, the son of an Episcopal priest, Mark has seen a lot of church, and not all of it pretty. Because of his experiences, he brought a sense of realism that was consistently tempered with real love for God and neighbor and this place. So we will recognize him and we will recognize Ryan with those gifts. And one more thing. All 4 of our retiring vestry members are parents, from preschoolers to high schoolers. They all work demanding jobs. They're all doing their best to be loving spouses. And they consistently and faithfully gave themselves to All Souls Parish for these past 3 years, for which I am and we are immensely grateful. Thank you. Makes me teary every time. Okay. Now we turn our attention to the election here. Now that we have a quorum, thank you, Gretchen. I will turn it over to Grace, who will introduce our folks looking to be elected to the vestry for a 3-year term. I'll be there for you if you'd like.
It really has been a pleasure to serve on the Vestry. I'd like to say a brief word about our process for nominating our new Vestry members. Each year, the outgoing Vestry class forms the nominating committee to select both the Deanery delegates and the new Vestry nominees. And we begin by having an open nomination process. Anyone who wishes to put their own name forward or in collaboration with the nominee, the name of someone else. After that, the nominating committee has conversations with those folks and helps them with their discernment process. And those folks write a brief biography. Those go into the Pathfinder. And then there's a further open nomination period where anyone in the parish, anyone who's a member of the parish who wishes to put forward their name at that time may do so. We did not receive any additional names this year. And that brings us to the nominees that we have today. And I will say, for anyone considering vestry service in the future, I've really found it to be more giving to me than taking from me. I know that's hard to believe in a volunteer commitment sometimes, but that really felt to be true. And our group uses its time very efficiently, very thoughtfully, and there's a great camaraderie among the members. So if you're considering vestry in the future, I'd be happy to talk to you more. It really is a wonderful thing to do. At this point, I would like to present our candidates for this year. When I call your name, please stand. Diehr. Dan Hardy, who's back in our sound booth. Mattek. And Deirdre Nurre, she could not be here today. Phil, are you leading us through the? Yeah.
Seeing as we have as many people as we have positions for this election, I would like to solicit now a unanimous ballot to be able to elect these four to serve on our vestry for the next 3 years. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All against? Congratulations, class of 2029.
Grace already eloquently laid out our nomination process for vestry and deanery. And as she mentioned, no other names were submitted beyond those that came from the nominating committee. So that I would like to put forth our nominees as deanery delegates and convention delegates for 2026. Well, first for deanery delegates for 2026 and then convention delegates for 2027. Kaki Logan, can you please stand? Richard Page. Grace Telcs. And Dean Williamson.
Once again, since we have four candidates for four positions, I would ask for another unanimous ballot. Excellent. Let's see, the first one was Gretchen Donart, who was, raise your hand if you just moved that. Thank you, Maggie. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
The nominating committee is now finished. Look at that smile of relief. I know, it's going to be, I've got ideas. Okay, so we've come now to our time to look back 50 years ago at All Souls. This is the annual report from the year of 1976. And 76 was a big year in the church. I'd like to read rather extensively from the report of the rector, the Reverend William Power Clancy, Jr. He begins this way. In the late 1970s, the temper of the times seems to be of a more conservative nature. For many, this is a vast relief, particularly after the turbulence of the 1960s and the early 1970s. For others, there is disappointment, because during that era, they had glimpses of what they thought the church could and should be. The major event of this year of the Episcopal Church was the General Convention at Minneapolis, St. Paul in September. The two significant actions were taken by the church. One, the ordination of women to the priesthood, and the episcopate was approved. And two, a proposed Book of Common Prayer was authorized for general use with the final action at the General Convention of 1979. The ordination of women passed in the House of Bishops by a 2-to-1 vote. In the House of Deputies, we have a bicameral legislature, but no judicial system, by about 51 to 49%. In short, the church is badly divided on this issue. Indeed, St. Mary's Parish, Denver, is attempting to secede from the Diocese of Colorado and the Episcopal Church. There is discontent in this diocese over the issue also, although thus far no such dramatic action has been taken, though parenthetically I will add that it would be. Bishop Myers has already ordained 3 women to the priesthood and plans to ordain at least 2 more. Almost 50% of the junior class at the Church Divinity School of the Pacific are women. After 9 years of liturgical trial, many have been sorely tried, including the Standing Liturgical Commission. A revised Book of Common Prayer has been authorized. It was approved by a plurality exceeding 90%. One of the significant aspects of this edition is the broad lay participation in its formulation. It was not handed down from on high. It was tried, beginning with the 1967 trial use, worked and reworked ad infinitum. This new book differs from the 1928 book in many ways. It is 1,000 pages long, does not contain the epistles and gospels written out in full, which would require another 400 pages, employs both traditional and contemporary language, and makes available optional rites. It provides historical and traditional services of the church which are not contained in the 1928 Burr book. The calendar and lectionary have been revised. It is richer in content and more varied. Uniformity is not a characteristic, but it has a flexibility to which it will make it adaptable to times, seasons, places, and events, a characteristic lacking in the 1928 book. It reflects more accurately worldviews and conceptualities. If used well and wisely, it can be a treasure of worship. Unfortunately, it can also be abused. He ends with, "So as Anglicans may we, by the grace of God, move forward in 1977 with a spirit of give and take, mutual respect and forbearance, and approach the new prayer book with a profound sense of what has been required to produce it, what it represents in a modern, industrial, pluralistic society, and to do so openly and patiently." William Power Clancy Jr., Rector. A lot happening. From the report of the senior warden, O.J. Sparrow, it seems refreshing in this writing to have heavy rain following through our Berkeley hills, thus ending the longest period of seasonal drought in recorded history, some 46 days. This seeming commonplace rainfall and winter storm typifies our helplessness before God. Consider the California water plan and its empty dams. And when he withholds his blessings, our resurgent hope when they are released to us again. The Commission on Worship, and this is the report of Donald B. Aird, choir master and organist. The choir has grown to about 42 members on the books. However, we have Sunday attendance averaging around 25. We now have members from as far away as San Francisco and Walnut Creek who consider All Souls as their church home. We are still most fortunate in having more men than women in our choir, which accounts for much of the unique sound that this group is able to produce on a variety of musics. The large works produced in 1976 were the St. Matthew Passion by Bach and the Grand Mass in C minor by Mozart. Both of these were with full orchestra, since we are still wonderfully blessed in having the donated services of some of the Bay Area's best instrumentalists for such master works. The choir is preparing St. John's Passion by Bach for Good Friday this year. Now, to a report on adult education. In addition to the five-part Lenten series focusing on dimensions of the Christian family, there's this paragraph. How safe is nuclear power generation? And how do laymen decide such a question? To help clarify the issues, a debate was held with Dr. Roger Glassy as moderator. Dr. Edward Alpin argued that the current safety laws are adequate, and spokespersons for the Nuclear Safety Initiative argued for the proposed new law. And that was written by the chair of adult education, Dave Roberts. The Commission on Property, church buildings. The second phase of re-roofing the church was completed in 1976. This leaves only the north side, which may last one more year, to be done in 1977 or 1978. When we reshingled, when we completely removed this year, we found that some of the areas had 5 layers of shingles, including the ones done in 1976. And then, as you may know, we owned a parish-owned apartment house, and so this comes from part of that report. The recycling of cans, bottles, jars, and newspapers continues with preparation by the resident manager and tenants and removal by Recovery Recycle, a quasi-public operation promoted by the city of Berkeley. Thanks are due to Nancy Markell for making trips to a recycle center with the apartment house materials before these new systems were underway. So, some things have changed and some have stayed the same since 1976. I would now like to fast forward very rapidly in time to 2025 and invite forward Shelley Altura to give us a report on our 2025 finances.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. So, Shelley, the first question I have for you is, how did we finish 2025?
We did very well in 2025. There's a lot happening here, and I'm happy to say our bottom line was a 21,000 surplus. So that included, of course, no preschool revenue. We haven't had that for a couple of years. And also, we accomplished this surplus without tapping the Jordan Fund reserve that we have set aside. So I haven't seen that on the Finance Committee for quite some time, like a surplus of that nature. We were 27,000 ahead of budget of the prior year. For that year. And so, because we did not tap the 25,000 Jordan Fund, that puts us at a $52,000 position of where we didn't expect this to be at last year. So when we did the budget, so we were 52,000 ahead of where we thought we would be with last year's budget. That's kind of amazing, especially when you consider all the activities that we've been witnessing.
So then the question now is, what's the financial outlook for 2026?
Well, we have the budget. It's a good outlook. The budget that we came in with, the stewardship campaign was successful in that we were able to budget the same amount that we had this year, which is not it's kind of expected when you look at the economy and things like the uncertainty going on in the nation and the world, that yes, there is a little bit there. We thought we could get further with that, but I think that's a big number overall. On other revenue is about $100,000, so we're at $900,000 in income that we're expecting, and we are for expenses $940,000. So that leaves us with a $40,000 net expected deficit. But of course, we have some opportunities to overcome that like we did this year, the unexpected gifts and things. I think year-round giving, I always encourage that. We do the stewardship campaign, but I think year-round giving overall, if we get into that mindset, we'll get those. We have one line item we put in the budget this year we changed the name of it from just gifts to surprise gifts. So, we're looking for surprise gifts. Year-round surprise gifting. So there's room in that line for us all to jump in there and be part of the fun, and we'll have a party or something. And I think as far as the preschool goes, this could be the year we're hopefully back to having kids running around down in the basement in the new space with some seismic upgrading to make that all possible. So I talked with Phil about this yesterday or so, and perhaps in September we might have that income coming in, and probably from September to the end of the year between $25,000 and $30,000 as a possibility. So that money offsets the $40,000 deficit, and that's why we need the surprise gifts for that other key. Just as a kind of a backstop, this year we designated $12,000 for deferred maintenance. The Vestry put that through as a really good idea that we continue to stay ahead of the roof issue over the next however many years. So in case something comes up in 2020, in this year, we do have that as a little backstop for something. So overall, I think next year looks very. I keep thinking I'm living in 2025. So yes, we're in good shape.
What you may not know is that we generally try and do a 3-year term for our treasurers, and this is actually Shelley's 4th year, because last year, as we were still in really the throes of living waters and money coming in and money being spent, I asked her to do a 4th year just to help us through that turn, which she really graciously agreed to do. I'm just curious. I know, right?
Thank you for putting up with my long-winded financial analysis. I did want to say one more thing about the balance sheet and this, the capitalization. If you look at the balance sheet, I know you're not all into the details of numbers, but it's really important this year that we brought over all the improvements of living waters, the organ, and it came out to be about $3.3 million in value that we capitalized on the balance sheet. So you will now see in fixed assets the improvements to the church, and it really demonstrates the equity and the amazing giving, what we've been able to accomplish. So it's just like any property, home sale or whatever. When you add to the home or the church, that's definitely significant. So, and there will be additional, as we do the seismic work, we'll continue to do that annual basis.
Excellent. Last question. What has been inspiring for you in the 4 years you have served as our treasurer?
Oh, I think it's you all. I think I just heard Phil talk about the people. And there's a coach, some of you may know, Bill Campbell. He's also a great leader, business leader. He wrote a book that's very good. I recommend it. He said it's about the people. And it is about the people. And that's inside our church walls and outside in the world at large. So I think I love people. I'm kind of shy, even though sometimes I don't seem like it. But I just want to thank you all for, being here for me. I had a tough year this year, and I appreciate all your prayers, and thank you all for that too. So,
thank you, Shelley. And for you, Shell. Again, you've helped things bloom here at All Souls, and I hope you get to see that continue.
thank you.
I'd now like to invite forward two other folks who've done a lot of work these last few years. Patrick Diehr, Richard Lynch. Come on up. Okay, for those who might not know, Patrick has served as the chair of our property team for 500 years. No, it just kind of might feel that way. But for the last 5 years, as we began this work, actually 6 years, as we began this work in earnest, and has seen this Living Waters project from conception into hibernation, into reconception, and into actual work that is almost done. And alongside that, Richard Lynch was the chair of our Living Waters fundraising group that involved many of you here today, and that work also is almost done, very, very close. So my first question, Richard, the giving towards Living Waters, how is that finishing up?
It's finishing pretty amazingly. 3.5 years ago, we finished the pledge period with commitments for $3,950,000, well above the 2.1 we were budgeting and we hoped to be able to raise. And over time, typically there's decay in that giving. People move away or things change, and you end up collecting less than that. We will finish this project with one additional gift in April, more than the amount we committed to begin with. We will end up collecting $3,965,000. Which just doesn't happen. We had, I think it's 18 people give more than they had pledged. We had people continue to stretch during the process, and we had a Living Waters pledge as recently as last April. So this community has embraced the generosity necessary to do this and has followed through in so many different ways. It's been astonishing to me to see it, so I'm grateful.
Right on. Patrick, okay, so we're so close. Could you give a sketch of the kinds of projects we did and what spaces here at All Souls they affected? Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
We have started, as Phil mentioned,
Right.
way
Why don't we
back.
just swap? Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
We started this process a while ago, 6 years ago. We had a little bit of start, and then we had to stop during COVID, and then we restarted that back up again. during that whole time, there was some major kind of things that we wanted to fulfill during that whole period, and which has now almost come into fruition for the Living Waters Capital Project. So one of the things that it really came in stages. It really came in a long period of stages, and thank you all for being so patient and willing to understand and wondering when the certain rooms would be completed. But really what we have done for the Living Waters project is one thing, the Undercroft. It was pretty much, I'm going to say, refreshed, remodeled to convert some rooms into classrooms. We have a youth group room down there. Those were converted from the old offices that we had. Also, we, in the Undercroft area, 4 new bathrooms, 3 of which are accessible, and they are all single occupancy, general neutral restrooms. And then also in the Undercroft, the chapel was refreshed, put in new lights, a better heating system.
A working heating system.
A working heating system, we'll say. And in the common room, putting in a AV system and to work in that meeting space. So that all happened. Most of that work actually happened in 2024. Some of it led into 2025 in the beginning of 2025. With that said, the items that, or the areas that were done last year, as you all well remember, is the parish hall. The parish hall had been completed, but what hadn't been completed was the new floor. And the new floor needed to be put in, and we had to wait for a series of time because of the fact that we really wanted to put it in the winter time, but we didn't have any heat. And so what we had to do was have to wait for this place to warm up so we wouldn't have any problems with the wood floor going in. So I believe that was done around June of last year. And then subsequently, we also were waiting for the PG&E upgrade to allow us to start with getting our elevator, so we can have an elevator, as well as getting our kitchen to be upgraded so we can use the kitchen and be off of the gas appliances that we had and converting into electrical means. And so that actually didn't occur until September of last year. So once we had that, we were well on our way to finish our last projects, which was the kitchen, and as you can see, the elevator, which is blinking, but not necessarily working right now. So, but all good time. We will hope, I believe that we did get our state inspection for the elevator, and it seemed like it has been worked. People have actually taken a few trips up and down, but it's not a continually working elevator yet, which we will all be patient, as we all have been, to help our contractors and our friends to actually get this elevator to work again, which will be probably, I'm actually hoping, in the next couple of weeks, but I actually said that in November when actually we're done too. So that's it.
It will happen.
That's where we are. I mean, we're almost there. The last 2 remaining items that are made. Oh, one other thing that I want to mention is actually an added project, kind of significant added project, was the upgrade of the sacristy area, which was definitely, thank you, Ann Myers, for spearheading that work. And now it's a much more pleasant place to actually work in there. So thank you, Anne, for spearheading and get that in, all that done. But what I mentioned in terms of there are 2 items that we are still kind of tracking. One is the landscaping project, which is headed by the landscaping committee, and with Kaki Logan's great help on that, which they do have a plan, and we're going to hopefully implement that sometime spring of this year. And then the other thing will be also one of the items that we wanted to portray is flexibility, and one of which will affect this space is that we will have some of the pews will be removed, and we will have mobile seating. I will say mobile seating with kneelers, and that we will probably have about 4 or 5 pews that will be converted to
2 rows.
2 rows that will be converted to that.
And then will be upcycled.
Yes, and they will upcycled for work with the organ upgrade.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the organ maker is going to take these pews and actually recycle them and work and refabricate it so it will have a different use.
Yeah, I think the pews will be turned into an organ console. So, yeah.
Such a wonderful gift that this person is giving, and also just a wonderful thing that we can kind of reuse what we have.
Yeah. Richard, what is one of the work that's happened? What is something that you're really excited about that we've been able to do?
I will be, excuse me, I will be excited when the elevator door opens and people roll off into this space. I think that will be great. Throughout this process, people would come up to me during coffee hour and say, "When's the elevator coming up?" I don't know. I'm not your elevator guy. But that will be really exciting. I think it will shift the way people look at the space, and I think that will be great. I think the thing that I have been most amazed by in this is when I first started, I would talk about that we were going to remodel the church. And my friend and colleague, Marilyn Flood, would say, "No, the church is the people. We're going to remodel the buildings, the physical space." And over again, I would make the mistake, and Marilyn would remind me very nicely that the church is the people. And I've come to understand that much more clearly now. And one of I think maybe the last thing we're going to be doing for Living Waters is putting up a plaque commemorating the people who have donated to this project. 162 households have come together to put this space, not church, into the next decades. This was the 5th capital campaign. We did not build this sanctuary or the parish hall or any of it, but have been given it to us. It's been given to us by people who came before. And so I think the thing that moves me a lot is that we're now taking our place in a long line of people who are providing this space for what's to come. And so that's the thing that moves me, that for the next 20 or hopefully 30 years, people will be able to come to this space and imagine what needs to happen to draw closer to God. And I feel like that's what the 162 households have been able to do, even more than an elevator.
Right on. All right, Patrick, last question for you. What are some things that we can do now that were not possible or were more difficult before?
Say that again.
Yeah, what are some things we can do now, like in the spaces that we've reconfigured or rebuilt or built newly? What are some things that we can do now that were not possible or maybe were difficult before?
I think rebuilding the spaces will, I mean, for the fact that, it's a more flexible space for all of us to use. It allows us to use the space that it is now, which is very different, a little different than it was before. I also feel like most of it is, it's all of the, I'm gonna say physical things that has happened, actually were responses from all of you. All of this discussions. I mean, the process from a while ago, from bean counting to all of those things is really of what this community has provided for you all to live and worship and come together. And I think it's really a heart of the community. And I think that's really what the thing is. It's not just one person or one group. It's all of you. And I see that so often, how you use the spaces, and you will be continuing to use the spaces as it sees fit, as this parish grows and lives on.
Awesome. While we recognize that there were 162 households and dozens of people that did the work, including the contractors and people who volunteered here, the two of you gave particular time, attention, skill, and effort for a long time. And we would like to recognize this. So it turns out along the way we had to replace some of the panic bars out in the narthex, these beautiful brass bars. And so our organ builder, Daniel Gonzalez, who's a man of many, many, many skills, is refashioning those into two crosses that will, one for you and one for you, to be able to have and to remember the work that you gave to this place that will continue to give. In the meanwhile, yes. In the meanwhile, it is time to celebrate because the work you have done has come to a close. And so we ask that you celebrate this with us in good health, and thank you. Yeah, right now. All right. You're welcome. Thank you, Patrick.
And it's cold.
And it's cold. All right. Really good and really close to done. That's amazing. So we're going to shift our attention briefly here to 2001 because that was 25 years ago. The rector, the Reverend Andrew Walmsley, wrote this report. This year there was an incredibly rich and diverse group in our catechumenate, many of whom are still here at All Souls Parish. And then he says, this is, as I have said so many times before, a parish that pastors one another very effectively. We have an extraordinary team of LEMs under the loving direction of Dory Laverty, who ensure that our Sunday Eucharist is extended to those who are ill or shut in. The ministry of Bill and Margie Fay, as well as Alec and Joan Blair, to the lunch bunch on Thursdays, is legendary and miraculous. For each week, the feeding of the 5,000 is recreated. Yeah. It was also a challenging year in that we were undergoing a capital campaign, which might seem familiar. At the time, though, this was not something that there was general consensus on. So he writes, one of the challenges of living out what it means to be in community has been dealing with some of the disagreements in relation to our building project. Some members have felt that the leadership in both Vestry and Building Committee was unresponsive with respect to their specific concerns about the design developed by Goldman Architects. The leadership, on the other hand, was convinced that this design was supported by the majority in the parish and that it reflected, as well as our tight budget could, the ideals developed in the year leading up to the capital campaign of 1999. In a variety of meetings, fora, and conversations, members of All Souls expressed their feelings on the issues with great feeling and passion. In the fall of the year, some members felt it was advisable to support the designation of the parish buildings as a landmark in the city of Berkeley, the effect of which would have been to slow down the building process. At a hearing of the Landmarks Commission on January 7, 2002, the petition to make this designation was turned down, thus removing a potential obstacle to construction. The differences of opinion with respect to the building design, I hope, have made us more capable of hearing the wide varieties of voices in a diverse church community. My prayer is that we love and respect one another as we continue to face the inevitable challenges that arise from our diversity. Then, this is the report of the Finance Committee. Nevertheless, the parish operating fund ended the year 2001 with a deficit of $18,141. This is the sum of the projected deficit plus the reduction in operating income and expenses. The deficit has been covered by depleting the reserve fund and transferring $5,000 from unrestricted budget, unrestricted bequest funds. In response to declining income, the parish did a commendable job of controlling expenses. Church expenses were under budget due to efforts at economizing on supplies, services, and utilities. There were some challenges in 2001. This now from John Rager, who was our director of music. As it turns out, in 2001, All Souls celebrated the funeral for Donald Diehr, who 25 years before had been the music director that I read from his report. This is what the music director in 2001, John Rager, writes. The first year of the millennium was not a dull one. Terrorist attacks made us all stop and question the security of our lives and seriously ponder the future of humanity. At All Souls, as most religious institutions, we held special services. It seemed as though Lent had returned in September. I kept emergency copies of the consolatory hymns ready in case we suffered more tragedy. The Requiem Mass by Tomas Luis de Victoria was especially poignant on All Souls Sunday. And the community at All Souls is steadily growing. There is great interest among the congregation in all the aspects of music and liturgy. In the fall, amidst international terrorist crises, we offer 2 hymn sings. The first, co-hosted by Jan Robicher of the School for Deacons, was a historical survey of hymn tunes and texts through the ages. Session 2, part of the parish retreat at the Bishop's Ranch, focused on American and 20th century hymnody. Report from the Altar Guild. This year marked the dedication of the purple vestments for use during Advent and Lent, with thanks to several persons identified in the 2000 annual report. For the record, it might be noted that during the year, the font was moved to the center aisle, with blessed water available as worships entered the nave, and loaf bread was used at the principal service of the week for much of the year. From your director at the time, Marilyn Flood. And finally, the Peace and Justice Committee was created to address crucial social issues confronting the whole Christian church, and in particular All Souls Parish in Berkeley. During the past year, the committee devoted its primary attention to an educational program as part of the Oasis California ministry. This led the parish to becoming an Oasis congregation, which is a congregation that welcomes gay and lesbian people. I know. That was from the chair, Steve Sims. And one last note. This is Nancy Austin, junior warden. Also notable, All Souls became an Oasis California congregation. This program of openly declaring welcome to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people was studied and discussed at length within the Peace and Justice Committee, publicized to the entire parish, and presented and discussed at a parish forum. In the summer, the Vestry adopted a resolution requesting Oasis covenant status for our parish, which was granted in the fall. That was the year 2001 here at All Souls Parish. And now, feeding off of that work, I would like to invite forward the current chairs of Justice and Peace, Martine Ortega and Jenny Kern. A question for you both.
Actually,
Yeah.
before we get started, I want to say thank you for that sermon today. You covered all the bases, actually, and I think we're done. That's it.
Yeah. I thought that way about Emily B's sermon, so you don't get off that easy. Okay. How has the current moment changed your prayer life or the way that you read and hear Scripture?
We live in a political world, and so did Jesus. The struggles that we are dealing with now are not that different than the struggles that the inhabitants of the Holy Land were dealing with back in Jesus' time. And he, besides being the Son of God, which is a big job, was a political actor. He was a radical. He was a rabble-rouser. And he spoke truth to power, and thereby created his own power, which wasn't for himself, it was for us. And when I say us, I mean those of us who don't have power. That is inspirational to me, more than ever. All that inspiration is available to all of us at any time when we read the Gospels and we hear them and we come to this place. We can access that, and we need to do that. We need to be very conscious about doing that right now. We're involved in a war. Let's call it what it is. And we need strength, and that comes from him, and ultimately it comes from love, as we know.
Thank you. Yeah, what you said there about Scriptures being open in this moment is exactly part of why the Reformation happened.
And just to carry on from love, I mean, remembering how to keep that at the center of our actions moving forward, that's a challenge, and that's our challenge.
Yeah.
In terms of Scripture, I was very moved by the pulpit sweep. The last one, for those who weren't there, was about Exodus and the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. And the hardening of one's heart is an issue in these times. And how we are going to, what is our exodus? What is our way out? Right now it's not obvious. And I would say that my prayer life has been emboldened by that challenge.
Thank you. So, what are some ways that All Soulsians can take action?
Well, we have a lot of work to do, especially now, and we need you. But our focus is really the immigration struggle more than anything. And thank you, Kaki and Gretchen and all of those, including yourself, who are going to Concord on Tuesday. That is going to happen on a monthly basis. There are protests every single day at the University Avenue Bridge. There's also a protest in my neighborhood in El Cerrito that happens, I think, almost on a daily basis. There are a lot of things to do, but if being active and visible is not your thing, there are other ways to contribute. Letter writing. I think there's a phone call thing that anyway, there's many things that we can do. Jenny and I have been talking about how to get that information to you. Apparently there's going to be a dedicated section in each Pathfinder from going forward, and we're going to get that information in each week's Pathfinder. As well, we are talking about a rapid response system because we need to be nimble now, too, more than ever. So we're formulating that, and we'll be implementing that when it's ready.
Thank you.
And just to follow up on what Phil said today about despair, I think it's going to be really important to not feel isolated and overwhelmed. And in terms of action, before action is to be able to reach out, and we are available to reach out too. But I think talking to people, trying to catch the signs of isolation and despair, taking breaks, taking care of each other, taking care of ourselves, because this is going to be, it's going to require our strength and collective energy. But action is the antidote to despair. Even any little thing really matters right now.
Last question. What is important to you about the relationships that we are a part of in this work, like the Isaiah organizations or St. Paul AME, Bethel, the wider Episcopal Church?
We can't do it alone. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're in it together. So the fact that we've established relationships is critical. And it feels like with building bridges, thanks to all the hard work here and just the desire and the need for connection, that those relationships are deepening. And there'll be more opportunities for jumping into each other's projects and less, I think there will be more nimbleness and ability to be there for each other. I wanted to briefly just give some headlines about what's happening with the Tiny House Village, which is under the umbrella of Youth Spirit Artworks, YSA. I was at a brunch yesterday, which is a monthly meeting that they have, and it's a festival of community, but it was a working brunch because they are in a crisis right now because the land that they sit on, this is going to sound familiar, where they've established a healing community where they're using radical strategies to meet young, formerly homeless people who've struggled where they are and provide really in-depth healing and job training and housing. That land has been sold by the city and the county, City of Oakland and the County of Alameda, to developers, and they will be displaced. So at this they have about a year and a half. So it feels really good to be in community with other congregations, and it's heartwarming. This is a different kind of being there and being witness and showing up, and it's going to take a lot of us stepping into that void and helping them figure out where they're going to go, because there are people living on that land, and we have an opportunity to support them.
And these are the tiny homes that we helped build 7 years ago.
Yes.
That ended up there at the Coliseum complex.
Yes, which is this beautiful space with community gardens and 22 residents who live there and all kinds of healing opportunities that happen for this community.
Yeah, thank you. Martine, how about for you?
Well, I don't have a lot to add other than these different faith communities need to understand that we're on the same side. You know, and we always have been, in fact.
We haven't always acted like it, though.
Right. But we need to see that we have commonalities more than ever before.
Yeah.
So it just, you know, it feels great to understand that. That we are all brothers and sisters in this struggle. I want to say something else, and that is, in a general sense, we need to keep our eyes open for opportunities to help each other, because those opportunities are always there. Always there. And we need to keep our eyes open and let
Preach
love
it.
in.
Preach it. Okay, please join me in thanking Jenny Kern and Martine Ortega for their leadership, and a special shout out to Gretchen Donart, who this last year, where's Gretchen? Gretchen is here somewhere. Please stand, Gretchen, who just finished her tour as leading Justice and Peace. Okay, we are in the home stretch. It's time for the report I will give, and for the now called flood crosses. Earlier, I gave thanks that Michael Lewis gave for the service in this past year that Michael Lewis gave All Souls Parish as senior warden. And I am grateful to announce that John Guerin, where are you, John? John was right there, and then he just left. I'm not worried. He will come back. But John is going to serve as our senior warden for this year to come, which is great. Our junior warden will be elected by our vestry at our retreat in 2 weeks. And earlier I gave thanks for the 4 years of service that Shelley Artura has offered as our treasurer, and I'm grateful that George McLaughlin has agreed to serve as our treasurer. Last year, I announced that this honor of recognizing All Soulsians is now known as the Flood Cross, in honor of Marilyn Flood, and as a testament to Christian love, humility, and service in action, often through acts that largely go unseen. This year, I am honored to offer these flood crosses to, well, the first one is to somebody who is not here today, but that is to Tim Hausler. Yes, you can clap, because he will be watching this later. Tim Hausler has served as our vestry clerk for the past couple of years with skill, discretion, and steadfastness. He's been a youth minister with our middle and high schoolers for the past several years, each and every Sunday evening and for weekend retreats, offering counsel and wisdom. And for good measure, he has built our Easter Vigil fires and reflected with us in the season of Advent. He's not here to be able to accept the Flood Cross in person, as he is currently in Minnesota, bearing witness and supporting friends and others who are standing up for their neighbors this weekend. Tim, we are grateful for your service and care of this parish. And now I'd like to invite Diane Havok forward. Did I get her name right? Yeah. Whew, that was like the thing I was most nervous about today. Diane. Diane has quietly, lovingly, and deftly led Arts at All Souls for the past several years. She is not just an artist herself, having painted our Advent sunrises that adorn our pillars and the back of the wall of our sanctuary, painting each year's Paschal candle freehand. She also has worked on this past year's Holy Family that you saw right here and you see on the front of your 2025 annual report. She also guides and supports the rest of the artists of our parish in pointing us towards the hopes, beliefs, and desires of each liturgical season as we live into them. we would not experience nearly as much beauty and wonder and joy without her. Thank you, Diane. Thank you. And this is for you. You have to come over here so they can hear you.
Kaki, Umberto, Kate, Umberto, Jeannie, Michelle, Lenore, Renee, Margaret, Aaron, Brenna.
And that's why she is who she is. Lastly, you've heard of people being closers. Well, around here we call David Brown the finisher. Please come forward, David. In the past year or so, David has finished or refinished chairs, the parish hall pillars, storage room walls, window wells, and common room tables. He has helped us build shelves, move cabinets, and get rid of mirrors and other accumulated junk for Jesus. Every week, often several times a week, he's here to offer his help for various tasks, always offered with his characteristic humility, thoughtfulness, skill, and good cheer. And he served on our seismic task force, helping us to figure out our next best step. When you need something done and someone you can count on, you turn to David Brown. Thank you. And that is the last part of our 122nd meeting of the congregation. Nat, how will we adjourn?
We have a song. It's actually this Angel Band song from this morning. So if you have your leaflet still, please pull it out.
You want to come over here and wherever you want.
Okay. I think there's verses and there's a chorus. Obviously, the chorus is very straightforward. Rise and follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of souls. Page 10. Those of you following at home.
Follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of souls. Rise and follow me, I'll make you worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of souls. Peter, John, and James would never be the same after they heard him say, I'll make you fishers of souls. Rise and follow me. worthy. Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of souls. The 122nd annual meeting of All Souls Congregation now stands adjourned.